Hi everybody and welcome to another 2K Drones live episode, and as always I have my buddy Chuck in with me. I will bring him in now.
Hey, what's up guys? See, Keith didn't say what's up guys, so I had to do that for you, Keith.
What's up guys?
What's up guys?
What's that? And as always we are also joined by none other than Mr. Henry Robotic.
Henry.
Hello.
How you doing, Henry?
Good. You guys?
We're good. We're good. I'm just going to say hello to people in the chat. Hi, Chris. How you doing? Hi, Jesse. How are you? Love that video of the windmill, dude.
Oh,
that
yeah.
is a
pretty damn
beautiful
Oh,
shot.
the fog is just...
Oh,
Fog's
mate,
always
that's
good.
a really good video. Good choice of music as well. Hey, EZ Drones. How you doing? Hi, Laurie. How are you? Hello, everyone, and welcome, and thank you for joining us. So today we're going to be talking about another drone leak, which is one that's got certainly us here slightly confused. We're going to be talking about the Smart Controller, specifically with the Air 2S, and then we'll see where the stream takes us. If there's anything you guys want us to bring up, leave it in the chat and we'll bring it up. But anyway, let's get into this, and I will hand over to our raving reporter, Mr. Henry Robotic here, who found this story yesterday when it kind of went live and sent me
2 days ago.
these pictures. Was it 2 days ago? Is it 2 days ago or was it yesterday?
Yeah, I don't know. It's some time
It's
ago.
a blur.
Yeah.
I swear it was
I don't know.
Thursday,
Time
though.
zones are so confusing.
Tell us about it. Well, yeah, we're like spanning the universe here. We have you on the left
Yeah, it was
coast, me on the
Thursday
right
night
coast,
for me.
Keith halfway
Yeah,
up around
Thursday.
the world from both of us.
Yeah, it was interesting. Thursday night for me. I don't know about you guys. Sometime, who knows? But
It's all the same in the Droneverse, as Henry,
yeah,
Ken would say.
yes,
So that's I see you sharing your screen, so I'll bring it in,
Yes.
Henry. There we go.
all
so
right. So
there's this.
yeah. So basically what happened yesterday is we got, for some reason, a lot of different leaks from different sources all at the same time. First, I'm going to talk about basically on Walmart's website, they listed a DJI Mini SE. And so this was done by Walmart themselves, not somebody else selling through Walmart, not a third party. This is Walmart on their own website. You can see here it's the DJI Mini SE, and I don't know if you guys can tell, maybe it's not high res enough, but on the arm it says DJI Mini SE, but otherwise it's identical to a DJI Mini, the original. And so if you go through the images here, it's got some interesting specs here.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, so it's 249 grams. It's exactly the same as the Mini. It has a 30-minute flight time, which is generally the same as well. A 2.7K video on a 3-axis gimbal. That's a spec we've heard before. And a 2.5 mile range is, again, something we've seen before. And then otherwise, really nothing has changed. Like, this is what comes in the box, apparently. But
There
yeah.
is one thing
Props changed.
that we've seen is that it's got Bluetooth.
Yeah,
Yes.
Bluetooth.
Right here in
That is strange. I mean, I'm gonna make a call that this is legit because it's using the same sort of color ends on the props as the Air 2S, and this appears to be DJI's sort of like new color for their new range of drones. What they seem to do is every time they sort of bring out a drones around each other, they color the props the same, and then when the next sort of range drones comes out, they change the color. And they do that for every one of those drones in that particular release period, if you like. And I've noticed DJI do that, and so I believe this is legit. What I can't quite get my head round is the Bluetooth. The Bluetooth is a bit odd to me. The only thing that, I mean, Chuck and I were briefly talking about this yesterday, and I think Chuck's right that it's file transfer, but
I agree.
That's my guess. That's my guess. Then you have to plug the cable in to get get the images and the video off of it. But it's slow. Bluetooth isn't super fast.
No, it's not. But I mean, based upon, I think this drone's going to be about $300. I think that's what it's going to be. Or maybe even less than that, $249 just to go
I
with
think
the
it's gonna
249 grams in wet.
I think it's gonna be cheaper than that. Partially because I think it's literally its only purpose is to be cheaper than the Mini. If that makes any sense. Like, why would you
Like,
release?
Yeah, I was laughing at that too. That's for Jesse.
Flying Bluetooth speaker.
Wow.
Yeah, have that drone hovering above you to play that bit of music.
The speaker is going to weigh more than a drone. I don't think that's going to.
Oh, maybe that's something interesting. I saw GoPro earlier released a patent pending thing for this actually might be something. Basically, in videos, the drone would record the prop line, and then it would send that audio file back to the controller and the phone and everything. And in the audio, it would take the prop line and basically invert it. And so it would basically delete the prop line out of the audio. So I don't know, maybe DJI's done something like that, or it's just Bluetooth for no reason whatsoever, or file transfer.
Well,
It is certainly an interesting
little teeny
spec,
tiny
but
chip. Yeah.
I'm going to raise something that this worries me, and I'm not entirely sure DJI is thinking this through. And whereas I think it is a money grab.
Oh, it's a money grab for sure.
It's a money grab. What else would it be?
Yes, but it's a money grab that could come back and bite them well and truly in the ass. Because here's the thing, right? If this drone is going to be $250 to $300, which I think it's probably going to be in that range, people are going to buy this. Because let's face it, this is aimed at the social media Instagramming lot where it's a cheap ass drone, doesn't do 4K,
get some quickie shots, do a short or a TikTok video, and hopefully not get arrested doing something stupid and then bring it down.
Yeah, you don't have to register this, so this is gonna sell. This is gonna sell, right? It's gonna sell
like hotcakes, man.
Bucket load of these.
Yeah.
But my fear is that we're going to get more of those morons that just think it's a toy and start flying it over places. You know, how long before we see somebody flying this near a damn plane or near an airport? Because everybody's going to fly it. And
yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right, and that's my main concern too. That I mean, it's the growth of the hobby is growth of the hobby is good, but in this case, it's going to bring in an element that's probably not good. And I saw witness of this the other day when I took witness of this the other day driving down this parkway near my house that is clearly in Class C airspace. And what do I see? They're doing like this wedding rehearsal party thing, and they're taking pictures and stuff. And some kid has his drone flying up like in Class C airspace. And it wasn't like a high-end drone. It was big though. But it was one of those cheeseball freaking drones. And
yeah, but if it's...
What are you doing, man? It's like you...
Well, you know, I have something to say about this. And
there's going to be more of that.
Sorry, guy. Ow, I might get one. Hey, morons. No, it's not.
I'm not saying that.
I'm not saying everyone is. I'm not saying that everyone is, but I think that this drone is going to encourage people. And that's the problem. You see, and I just feel that this might be a money grab that comes back and bites DJI.
It's a last minute money grab to get into the sub 250 gram market with something that's people never want to spend more than a couple $100 on a drone for their kid. Now this one just isn't just a little bit above that, and that's gonna be appealing because now you have a drone with a gimbal and everything.
Yeah,
it's gonna sell like crazy.
Well, I mean, in my opinion, the fact that this is literally its sole intention is to be a cheap DJI drone with just its sole purpose is just to be a Mavic, the budget model of the Mavic series. Mm-hmm. And what's a little bit scary about that is people are gonna like you. I mean, you guys said that people are gonna start treating this like a toy, and they're gonna start treating it like a cheaper and cheaper toy. Because I mean, like with the Mavic, you would really like with the Mavic. What made a lot of people not do stupid stuff with it was the fact that it was $1,000. You don't want to lose $1,000.
Right.
This is only a couple of $100.
Right.
Now people don't have the money incentive to not do stupid stuff with their drones.
Exactly.
Now, yeah.
Exactly.
It's like, I mean, I get why the Mini 2 exists. And Gareth, if you're going to buy a drone, stump up the extra cash and buy the Mini 2, because that's got the 4K, the much better signal, and that's a serious contender. It might be an entry level drone, but it's a damn good entry level drone. Just want to say quickly, hi Mike, thanks for popping in. Hey Art, hey Art, hope you enjoyed your holiday. I've been loving seeing all your fishing pictures.
They are awesome. He's probably eating good too. Better have a big cooler. I hope Art had a big cooler. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah.
I can fly this one.
Yes, actually,
no, that's true.
Perfect artificial element drone.
This is the perfect drone to do that with.
Oh my god! I mean, buy like 10 of them and just like go crazy. And
dude, for the price of like a Mavic 2, how many of these things could you freaking buy? Like what? 3, 4 of these?
Four.
Yeah, 4.
Mavic 2 probably. Yeah.
That's nuts,
Here's the thing. What I think this drone is going to do is it's going to trigger governments just to force registration on any drone with a camera.
This is going to do it.
Way or not,
this is going to do it.
Because I would respect this drone more if you had to register it, because then that means people are less likely to do stupid stuff with it. Because if you lose the drone doing something a bit naughty and the police find it, they can trace the drone back to you. As it stands right now, you don't have to register this drone whatsoever, except with DJI, and DJI are under no jurisdiction to release your data to anyone except the Chinese government, and the Chinese government are not going to share that with anyone else around the world. That's part of the problem. And and I'm not being a snob about this, because don't get me wrong, the Mini is a great drone. This is going to be a good drone. It's going to be a Wi-Fi drone, so it isn't going to fly that far. And Wi-Fi drones aren't the best. But you're right, you can fly it into a volcano. But at the same time, you are not going to care about this drone as much as you are, say, going to care, as Henry said, about a Mavic, which is a really good point. So it's you know, it worries me. It worries me. But I am intrigued to know what the Bluetooth is. I'm intrigued to see when this comes out and how much it's going to be. But I think it is certainly going to be their cheapest drone by a country mile.
Oh, 100%. I mean, like the Tello, it was a joke. That drone is a toy. So,
Well, yes and no, but it was a great little drone. I mean, it was surprisingly stable, right? I bought one for my niece because my niece was into drones and wanted to learn how to fly a drone. And she wanted to fly Uncle's drone. There's no way I was letting her behind the controls of $1,000 Mavic 2 before she at least knew how to keep a drone in the air. So I bought her the Tello, and she played with the Tello. And as a drone that was aimed at like 5 to 6, or that range where you can supervise and out, you couldn't fly very far. You couldn't do any damage with it really.
Its range was
Its range was less than 100 meters. But as a tool to train somebody to fly a drone, that was a great little thing. My niece loved it. It was surprisingly well made. And it was very, it was very robust. Your idea.
Yeah, pull up Chris's comment.
Yeah, you gotta pull that up. Anyway, it's not that like cheap drones don't have their place in I guess this world
that is the dronosphere. Yeah,
but they
do
at the same time. It's kind of dangerous if it's not done right. I mean, I take a look at the FEMI. I'm pretty sure you had to register it, but I could be wrong. And Husband and DJI is just stamping them out at this point. Like they've been in the ultra low budget drone sphere, and basically what they do is they take a cheap drone and make it more expensive. What DJI is doing is taking an expensive drone and making it cheaper. And honestly, between the two of them, I'm gonna take the chip off the good block instead of the bad block that's just been upsized, I guess. I don't know. I think DJI is just gonna destroy the market, and well, as in when I say destroy the market, I think they're gonna put Husband and all those other small companies out of business at this point with this drone.
Well, I think I'm a little disappointed with the FAA, believe it or not, that the allowing sub 250 gram drones is fine, but they should require the operators, all of us, to take at least an online test like they do in the UK or something. Kind of
I agree.
I agree on the rules. It's just
I think
these things are going to pop up in the sky, and they're going to be used. Some will be used responsibly, like pilots that are on here. We all know the rules. We're gonna use it as like a stunt drone, basically, right? I mean, this is the one you're gonna take to some place where
this is the one you're gonna take risks with. Yeah,
right. This is the one you're gonna, the risk it for the biscuit. This is the one you're gonna take those shots. You're gonna okay, I'm gonna go out to this thing. I'm gonna get a shot of this, and just if I lose it, oh well, whatever. But then there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna buy them because they've always wanted a drone, and they don't know about the rules, and they don't care about the rules, and they just think they can fly anywhere they want, and they're gonna. And then that's where the trouble is going to start.
It's interesting because whilst we're on the air, I've been keeping an eye. Hubsan have been launching the Mini Pro, and it really does have a 40-minute flight time because they flew it for 40 minutes on the live stream. And in Harvard,
that's actually impressive.
Yeah. But it has a remote that looks like the Mavic 2 Pro remote with LCD. So it has feedback to it in a drone, a sub 250K drone, ground drone. So we've got maybe Hubsan have finally stepped it up.
Never mind. I take back my previous comment. Yeah.
Have a look at this because this will be cheaper than the DJI drone. And it's promising. It is promising. It's
I hope
certainly
they do
an interesting drone. Yeah. But they've been talking about it whilst we've been on air. They've had a few people. It's certainly got some interest, and they've had some pre-orders. So there's a few more people watching that stream. 600 something.
I hate to say this. This might be the drone for me to pick up for a UK trip. It could. Wait until the first sort of real YouTube reviews come out of it, but it could be. Well, yeah, I'm in no hurry, but I'm just saying that this one has. It's funny. I've always looked down upon Hubsan for no good reason because I didn't have much data on the thing. I had a buddy who his first drone was a Hubsan, a 501S or something, and it was kind of a pile. But then again, I was flying a Mavic Pro, so I mean, I was snobby Chuck with my buddy Randy flying. But anyway, but yeah, that thing I was so dodgy with the GPS and everything. It would just start going crazy after calibrating the compass. So foolish me, I put down Hubsan because of that. But it's time for me to take another look and be just taking.
I've not had the stuff. I've not had the greatest experience with Hubsan in the past. Friends have told me that their drones have just crapped out.
Well, we'll see
hopefully they do this one right. Hopefully, really cool. Maybe this is a new lease on life. Maybe this is a new lease on life.
Good for them. Because DJI needs competition. Clearly, they need competition.
Yeah. Yes. If that's anything we need in this market, it's competition. Because nobody even touches DJI at this point, which is kind of sad because now we have no choice anymore. Like, it's like, do I buy this DJI drone or this DJI drone?
Autel has done a pretty respectable job with the Evo series is a good set of drones. And then, you know, the Skydio 2 is pretty cool for its little niche market. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, but Hubsan has a chance now. This looks good. So let's see what these. I'm curious to see the reviews. They must be out. People must have been doing the NDA thing up till today and flying them.
Well, no, they've. I think. I don't know if it's for sale. They're just doing a live stream launch at the moment.
You don't think they have any out there buzzing around?
But I will pay attention to this one. But the thing is, it depends if DJI finally give us access to the Mini 2 via the smart controller, because then that's kind of one controller you only have to carry, and you have the 2 drones. You have the smaller 4K drone should you need to just throw something up in the air very quickly.
You know, if they would offer up the Mini 2 with 3 batteries, a charger, and no RC, intending it to be marketed with guys who have the Pro 2 or the 2 Pro or the 2 Zoom or whatever, or the Air 2S with a smart controller, use your existing smart controller. You know, I mean, everything less RC basically. That probably wouldn't save much though, would it? That won't save much. That's cheap. That little controller is cheap.
One controller to rule them all, and in the darkness bind them. But seriously though, I mean,
I'll keep the crap on that one.
That was a good one.
You both got that. Thank you. But seriously though, I mean, you can fly the Air 2S controller with the Air 2 and the Mini 2, right? That controller works with all 3 things. Even though it's OcuSync 3, it's backwards compatible, which is what I like about the here we go.
Oh yeah, you're gonna pull it up? Yeah.
I was watching the Husband demo. It did hover for 38 minutes and crashed to the floor at the end. Embarrassing.
It didn't. I guess it's auto landing the auto landing software needs some work.
A little bit of.
Let's get this. This might not be the drone to rival. You know, it might not be as good.
May or may not.
That's their auto land
but
stuff.
I'm going to be interested to see how good it is, because if you get good quality video out of it, you'll be surprised how forgiving we are. As you get good quality video out of that thing and it's stable, if it's got a few bugs in it, we can be very forgiving. The drone community can be quite forgiving of that thing. We are really, 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 or certainly most people I talk to want to see DJI have some competition. Even if you are a DJI fanboy, it will do good for DJI to have competition because it keeps DJI on its toes. And this SE to me is just following an Apple. DJI believe themselves to be the Apple of the drone community, and to a certain extent they are.
2 steps forward, 1 step back every time.
You
get 2 new features and you lose one that you liked. 2 new features, give up one you liked. And then the next model comes out, has the feature you liked, and then something else, and drops something else, and it's the game. It's like there's never a true upgrade with DJI. It's always you give up something every single time. Something. It might be stupid or little or trite, but it's something. And
you see, if I was in the UK or going to Scotland or like you are, Chuck, I'd buy a Mini 2. I'd buy a Mini 2 now. Right now, having traveled with my Air 2S for the first time properly, it's the only drone I need. It's the only drone I need for the vlogging and cinematic stuff. Don't get me wrong, I'm still carrying that FPV because that FPV drone for me is a lot of fun. I mean, the fact that I threw it through a gazebo, very nearly bricked it. I threw it through a gazebo.
I haven't seen this yet. This is
we need to see this.
Please.
And I was about that far off the ground, flying through and there's shrubs. So there was like this. It was amazing. This place where we stayed had this amazing garden, and it had this circle of bushes with 4 paths into this gazebo in the middle. And I flew straight down. How I angled it, I don't know, but I angled it up straight on the path. So I came in down the path and bearing on the bushes about this far. So I'm probably about this far off the ground. I've gone shooting through the gazebo, right? under the table, through the gazebo, out the other side, and I had to slightly lift it up because I thought I'm going to go into the ground. But that was
we got to see that video.
It's coming. I know it's
I'll include
coming.
some of that on my vlog. It was a lot of fun.
Please do. Yeah.
And waking up with wild horses and the odd elephant nearby. Wild. Yeah, that was
FPV drone versus elephant.
Oh, no.
That would get the animal rights people all worked up, though. That'd be bad. Keith threads the needle underneath the elephant. Like
it was very impromptu because we were at my wife's family for a day or two, and I took the drone to fly there as well. But it was a good couple of days afterwards, and worth the visit. But I've changed my mind, and RC71 Blackbird with a camera strapped to it. Yeah, I'd like one of those too.
That'd be
and
good.
Hey,
Aldrin. How you doing?
Hey, Aldrin. Morning, sir.
But I don't know about this this Mini SE, but look, I would buy a Mini 2 if I was in the UK because it makes a lot of sense.
It's killing me because I kind of was hoping I could hold out for a Mini 3 for the trip, but if thing's going to come out probably 2 months later, like November-ish, is my guess.
Yes, it's such a weird.
Yeah, I know. Don't wait for the next one. Get the one you can get now. I know.
No, I'm going to say this. I was going to play you a compliment. The Mini, we know what's coming on the Mini 3. It's going to have a forward sensor. Chuck, you are an experienced pilot. You can get away.
I don't need the damn sensor.
You don't need the damn sensor. I mean, is what I'm saying. So,
but then it'll work with the goggles or some silly thing like that, and make maybe.
Or
it'll have a better camera or something stupid.
I'd wish they.
I expect it. Sorry, Keith.
I was going to say I wish the Air 2S would have the goggle thing, get that working, because that would be very useful.
They're taking their time on that, but
I'm sure you could hack through it, though. I mean, it's not really that hard.
Yeah. If we want to talk about what we think about the Mini 3, though, hey, Drone Nature, how you doing, Espen? I think the camera, the sensor is going to be a little bit larger.
Yep.
Oh,
Flight
yeah, that's cool, Aldrin.
He said he ordered the Xena. We'll see how it is.
John Coopy has
I'll
one.
watch that video for sure.
John Coopy has one, and he's suffering with the Horizon issue. So we'll have to see how yours pans out.
Yeah,
they're still struggling with that, it seems.
That'll be a cool video to watch.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm very interested in seeing how it does and if it'll actually compete with DJI. Because let's hope it does. Let's hope it actually does well, because competition is actually good in this sphere.
I want to see them have some competition. I mean, don't get me wrong.
They need competition. Something.
I really tested the heck out of the Air 2S over this weekend. I mean, I've been flying it before, and coincidentally, 4K H.265 video on the Mac, no problem. The minute it steps up to 5.4, that's where it has the issue. So I just shot everything in 4K, which was fine. I love that drone. But then again, I do go back to the fact that had I had the Pro 2 with that same camera effectively, I possibly wouldn't have jumped to the Air 2S.
Well, the size of your Air 2S though is it's so compact and easy to take on a trip that's the part about my Mavic 2 Pro that I would not miss. It's I have that bulkiness where I pack 2 of those for a trip, and I'm carrying 4 pounds worth of drone. And that little Air 2S is pretty sweet size wise.
It was very useful. I mean, one of the things we had was while we were up there, because we were up in a quite sort of place which is used to domestic tourism. Because of the situation here, there is literally next to no domestic tourism, which was great because we got like a lakeside room for next to nothing, and it was an amazing place. But there was no restaurants open, and we knew there was one sort of eatery open around the other side of the lake for where we're staying. So we rode around there, and I looked up, and there was just this amazing sunset, and the sun had set behind this hill, and we were getting streaks of sunlight coming up.
I love the
and I was like,
rays of sun.
I need to get the drone, and I just ran into the back of the thing. I had the drone thing
to the drone cave.
Controller, grab the drone, put the drone up
to the
in the
drone
air,
cave,
to the drone cave.
Came back, and then had ordered dinner. And by the time I brought the drone back, landed the drone back on the back of the truck because again the LED came on and bumped straight in again.
Do you have an H on your Hardtano, Keith? Because I need one on mine. I got to get the H on my Hardtano for the landing.
She won't let me paint it on there, but I did it all by line of sight. But it was fine. I got it down. But it was so easy, and the shot that I've got, I've seen it today. I haven't seen it. It's not colored or anything. But it's exactly what I think. There is no way I would have got that with the Air 2 or the Zoom. It would have been too dark. But that beautiful 1-inch sensor caught exactly what I got. And it was like, and I purposely, like we were talking before, I planned for it. I knew that this was going to be the end credits of my vlog because it was the last night that we were there. And I thought, right. And I just had the drone flying backwards over the lake with that sunset. I thought that's perfect. That's the end credits. There you go. That's the end shot.
Tell us the ending. You're like Ralph Malph. You remember Happy Days with Ralph Malph?
You forget, I went into the jungle. I went on a safari, and it was awesome.
Yeah, I know.
Henry. So, like, I'll tell you this quick story. Basically, my wife said, I want to go and into the jungle. I was like, okay, and she goes, right, we have to go here. So I've driven up to this thing, and there's this like with any national park. There's like this gate over in Thailand. There's like this gate over, and she goes, "Oh, somebody has to come with us." I was like, "Why?" She says, "Oh, they have to come with us to show us where to go." So she goes, "Hang on, wait here, staff come," like that. And I look at this thing, and in comes this guy, right, dressed in khaki, running great big shotgun in his hand, and Rambo style with like lots of shots down the side of his thing. You know, he's got a belt over it. I'm like. And he just gets in next to me, puts his shotgun down on his lap, and he's like, "Wake up!" Like, hi. It's like, and then it's like, "Off we go, darling." I'm like, "Why?" "Oh, there's big elephants and teddy bears in there." And I said, "What teddy bears? What? They're having a picnic?" She goes, "Bear." I said, she calls them teddy bears, but there was bears and elephants and all sorts. And it was amazing. It's all in the video, which once I get it edited down, I'll put it up. But
that'll be an interesting video to see.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I really am, man.
It was incredible. Awesome. I mean, at one point, because he then decided to drive the car so I could film. So the guy took over the driving of the car, and it was easier for him to go through. And I saw a flash of blue in my eye. Yeah. So, because my grandmother and my dad said, always carry a pair of binoculars in the car. So I got a pair of my grandmother's old binoculars in the car. Grabbed the binoculars and looked, and there was this beautiful, great big kingfisher with this amazing blue tail sitting in the tree, and he's just showing off like that, going, look at me, like that. And then he's completely upstaged because just underneath him, a toucan flies in and lands next to him. The toucan with a great big beak was like this, and the kingfisher's going up.
Dude, this is gonna be a sick video.
I know. Up for it. I can't get any of that crap in the Hudson Valley. I'm man.
It was something. I mean, I've never seen.
It's really cool.
I think I've seen a toucan once, but
a box of Fruit Loops. The only time I ever see one.
Yeah, I know.
In the Caribbean, I saw him in the Caribbean. That was cool.
But this was. I think I saw on the video. And I used the term, I said, this is less than 3 miles as the drone flies from where we're staying. But I couldn't fly the drone in there because it's a national park. But I got plenty of shots.
It was
awesome fun.
Can you get permission though, Keith? Is there any chance of getting permission? No? Bummer.
No, they won't let us fly the drone because it will disturb the wildlife that's in there. They've got. I'll leave it to the video, but they've got certain livestock in there that are put off by the smell of perfume and, of course, sounds like drones and stuff. But honestly, when I was standing down, because we had to walk the final bit, and I was only told afterwards that the ranger that was with us had seen some elephant dung on the floor, and it was fresh, like as in the elephant had passed 5-10 minutes at the most before we got there. And these are the the area where a lot of deaths happen because it's the whole thing of human life pushing onto the wildlife, and the elephants push back.
They push back, and they're kind of big.
And these elephants are quite aggressive,
territorial.
And, he was getting a bit antsy. He was like, "Come on, we should go, because if that elephant does decide to turn around and walk back and find out what's going on, we could have a problem." And we were down the bottom of the hill.
Marked as territory, that's for sure.
It would have been
as big as you, Keith.
Yeah, it was amazing. But I'll put it all in.
Sorry, it's not. That's a whole lot of shh. Okay.
But I will put it on. But anyway, this is
sorry.
This is a drone
off on a tangent, but a good one.
Yes.
Yeah. See, Lori's telling we had a bear story too.
Yeah, in the chat, a lot happened in the chat. So I believe Chris said something here. Yeah, Costco has a Mini 2 for $463. I think that's what it is, with 2 batteries. Flight Path says, yeah, our local Costco has the Mini 2 now. I mean, honestly.
Okay. Let's stop. Okay.
Anyway,
okay.
I mean, in my opinion, I think we had like a Mini 3 or a Mavic 3, a Phantom 5, or literally any drone with better specs than we have already seen, apart from the Air 2S, is that the only competition DJI has is itself. That's the reason we see, like, I mean, in like how many years we have, like, we're about to have like 3 minis. I mean, that's unreal. There's a Mini SE,
like
original Mini, and like a Mini 2. It's like, and they all have the same design. I mean, the literal batteries were interswappable. I mean, they all roughly have almost the same specs. I mean, the only specs that change are 2.7 to 4K. And so you end up with 2 drones that are almost identical, apart from Wi-Fi. I mean, it's kind of unreal. It's a total cash grab. They're just redoing the same drone. There's no sort of innovation. It's the same drone.
Well,
stuff different.
And Chuck's analogy of 1 step, 2 steps forward, 1 step back is exactly described the Air 2S.
It's exactly true. It's so true. Yeah,
they just tease. But you're right. The Mini 2, I kind of need one just to be able to get shots in spots where you just can't fly anything else. And it's not just the UK. It's a lot of places where you kind of need one of those. If only it would work with a smart controller, it'd be so perfect.
Well, talking of that, I think we should move on to our second subject.
And that's a segue to
that is a segue. So
to this thing.
So the DJI Smart Controller, I love it.
Oh boy!
And it has changed the way I fly drones. And the main reason is I live in a really hot country, and I tell you, in the last 2 weeks, it's been really hot. In fact, we've been having some of the hottest days since we moved here. It's been 38 on average every day. I don't know what
that's 100 degrees Fahrenheit?
Plus 90 so it's been hot, and I mean hot. And the one thing I've always noticed with every iPhone I've ever owned,
it is 100,
and Android phone, that they last about 5 minutes and then the screen dims. Now, if you're flying in bright sunlight, it's difficult to see a phone screen as it is without the phone then dimming. Now, as the drones get more powerful and as I start shooting in 4K, the phones last even less. And with OcuSync 3, my iPhone 11, which has a fast processor in it, literally I flew it with the stock controller 4 minutes before the screen dimmed. And it's useless. Whereas the smart controller has that lovely 1000 nit screen. It's bright, it's fan cooled, and it just works. But
it's a little long
there has been, and I'm going to be diplomatic here. There have been, and it's not just one, there have been several people saying that it's dangerous to use the smart controller with the Air 2S, or that there's issues with the Air 2S. And then there's other people that have made videos on fixes on how to fix what's going on. Now, one of those fixes is from our friend and fellow DJ Ash over at Droning On, where he showed that if you do a factory reset on it,
all hail King.
All hail Ash.
you do a
factory
reset on the controller, that it fixes a lot of the glitches, and I'm a testament to that. It does.
Sure cleans out the garbage, so you free up a lot of just memory and resources and everything by cleaning out the smart controller.
I did, after 2 or 3 days, experience a little bit of lag, but it wasn't huge. It wasn't dangerous as some have made out.
A lot of guys have said if you're flying slower like you do with a Mavic, it's not an issue because the lag isn't significant enough to hurt you when you're flying slow.
Have those guys ever flown Wi-Fi? Because when I flew my Mini, the lag would be up to like a couple of seconds at some times.
I remember that with my Mavic Air. I struggled with that.
Yeah, so I mean, Wi-Fi is just like that. And
I think when the Mavic 2 came out,
the Spark, the Mini SE, I assume, those aren't incompetent drones. Like a little bit of lag is okay. And it's just look, it's usable, but I think the problem is, and it's going to annoy some more than others, is the experience with the Air 2S is definitely not as smooth, right? When the Air 2, when the Mavic 2 Pro and Zoom came out, they were largely the pinnacle of transmission systems. Now, I know in America, everyone's banging on about OcuSync 3. OcuSync 3 inside the States and when you're in the FCC mode is amazing. The minute you leave America and you go to an EC country, no, it's not. And that's the thing that I see all these, guys in America, OcuSync 3 is the best thing. Yeah, it is where you are, not so much here. In fact, I'd say OcuSync 3 is worse than OcuSync 2 for the strength of transmission. Oh, yeah.
Because so I'm a spoiled American for sure. And
no, it's nothing to do. I'm taking the mix slightly. It's the FCC transmission.
Yeah, it is.
When it's at full transmission, it's really, really good. Don't get me wrong. But when it goes into EC, not so much.
Is that EC or CE, by the way?
CE, I mean, sorry.
No,
CE.
okay. No, I thought I'd screwed up.
Yeah, I didn't know either. I have no clue. All of it goes over my head.
But the thing is, it's definitely a smoother experience with the Air 2 than the Air 2S. But here's the thing, right? Having again used it, and I mean, I went through 19 batteries in 3 days.
I guess you used it. What did Lem do while you were doing that?
Six batteries. Oh, it's her idea. She kept saying, "Darling, pull over here. Fly the drone. Fly the drone." Darling, I'll drive the car, and you can follow the car with the drone. Half the drone shots, I will give it to her, were her idea.
All right. So yeah, Lori started to do that with me a little bit. So yay. Cool.
It's so we were jumping out the car and throwing the drone up in the air, getting back in. The great thing was small drone, putting it on the back seat, where you go. But I won't swap. I will not go back. So my personal experience with it is this. I think it's a subjective thing. I think it's going to annoy certain people who are very used to flying the Mavic 2 or the Air 2 with the smart controller, because it's definitely a smoother experience, but it's not unusable. It's definitely not unusable. And if you started off with a Spark or an Air or even the original Mavic Mini, it's no different. And actually, it's probably still better than those in many ways. But you probably do have to do a factory reset every few weeks. But again, if you live where I live, you can forgive it of that. I'm just hoping beyond hope that DJI bring out a faster model that can cope with that OcuSync 3 additional bandwidth.
They will. It's like they already have it designed. But Keith, I'm wondering, are there other ways to make the smart controller less taxed and not lag nearly as much? Like turning off, for instance, turning off the cache feature, so you're not caching.
Yes,
video
I've done all that,
device.
and the first, I had some lag, but that was down to transmission. So when I was getting some epic Bridgeborn for you, Chuck,
Bridge porn.
I dropped behind some trees, so I was standing at one edge of the thing, and I thought, wouldn't it be great to fly under the bridge? Of course, I'm at the end of the bridge trying to shield myself from the sun, not because I couldn't see the screen. Bloody hot. And I dropped the drone dropped below the tree line, and I lost a bit of transmission, right? And there was this bit of lag. It was about 2 seconds, and I went from being about 5 meters above the water to less than a meter. And the screen went and
that's not cool.
That was one, but that was not down.
That's scary.
That was down to dropping transmission rather than lag, and that genuine would have happened with any drone that I'd had. I was being stupid. So I then walked out onto the bridge, and of course,
wow, you risked it for the bridge porn biscuit. That's awesome. You're a true friend, Keith.
It's epic. I mean, it was amazing. It was a beautiful spot. It was worth going off road, getting lost. Me and Lemon for 45 minutes swearing at Google because Google said this was a road. It's like, since when was a dirt track? It's barely passable. Road, Google.
Side note. See, GPS though saves your marriage, because before it would have been her yelling at you, Keith, where the hell are you going? Why didn't you turn back there?
It was still my fault. It was still my fault because I programmed the GPS.
But Google took the hit, so that's good.
Yeah, Google took the hit.
Google navigation took the hit. So yay, Google.
The only thing that she couldn't have a go at me was that every time it bumped, she was driving the car. Because she made me get out earlier to film her driving the car through the trees, which was, by the way, amazing.
Aren't those fun shots? I love those kinds of shots.
Yeah, those shots. I can't wait to see this video.
Where we were is called the Switzerland of Thailand because it has green rolling hills. It's quite high up. And it's very unlike Thailand, except for the odd wild elephant and palm tree. But for the most part, they grow a lot of salad up there. They grow strawberries up there, and certain crops that you could not get growing where we are now, they grow up there. So, like when we were coming back, Len went to the market and came back with about $80 worth of fresh veg and salad and everything. Our fridge is chock-a-block with all this fresh veg. We've been eating. I mean, don't get me wrong, we've been eating really good food, like homegrown peppers and everything for the last week. It's been amazing, but it was interesting that when the drone lost that shot, and as I said, I did get noticeably towards the end of the holiday, I did get 2 bits of just slight jiggering, if anything, but nothing compared to what some people have applied. Now, I've watched a load of videos, and there seems to be people complaining more about the lag than others, and then when you watch their videos, I look at it and go, well, it isn't that bad. It's no more bad than when I used to fly the Mavic Air or the Spark. But I can see why it's a subjective thing, I think. I think it's going to annoy some people more than others because they've got so used to how smooth the Mavic 2 was.
It's
and
a
it
step
was
backwards.
very smooth.
So it's a little step backwards in performance, and that's going to irritate because, we get comfortable. And I do think with awesomeness. And then be left disappointing.
With all respect, that it is some of that, but there's some people going, well, if you pay $700, it should work. Well, yeah, it does work with the drones that it was designed to work with, and it still does work with those drones extremely well. And if you do have a smart controller and you love it, and you have a Mavic 2 Pro, trust me, you don't need the Air 2S. It's not an upgrade. There are some things that are great on the Air 2S, and it's
a much lighter, easier to pack drone, though.
I'd say that it flies well,
snappier, isn't it? They haven't. So you can't really throttle. You can't throttle it down to make
guys, I have to go for 1 second. Give me 1 second. Sorry.
No problem. Has Henry got some breaking news?
No, it's not breaking news. I'm ordering something. I'll be right back.
I know what you're ordering.
I know.
Go.
Go do it. Good luck. I hope he gets his TI. Damn it, I really do.
Luckily, because my wife Len was complaining, what happens if you didn't have GPS? I said, I'd read the map. She's like, do you know how to read a map? I said, yes, I'm old enough that the world didn't start. I didn't grow up with GPS. I learned how to read a map.
I'm sorry, I was reading Lori's comment. I remember that day. Oh man, we were lost in the middle of Manhattan, and like we're not really lost in Manhattan because it's all it's a grid, but the GPS just stopped because all the tall buildings screwed up.
Henry, wave at me when you're ready to come back in, okay? Wave at me when you're ready to come back in. But Henry's buying something. If I'm hoping, if it's what I think he's buying, then go
I know
for
what
it,
it
Henry.
is. He's gonna outdo me.
But you don't need one.
Your
computer's already awesome.
But I want the TI. It's better.
You love the smart controller, don't you?
Dude, if I could get the TI, I could sell the 3080 for 2 TIs anyway. I'd still make money on the deal. You would. Let's talk about drones. Okay, sorry.
Smart control, squirrel. Here, Chuck. Smart. You would buy another smart controller because you love it, same as me, don't you?
I do love my smart controller. Yeah, but I do wish that they'd come out with a new one to work with OcuSync 3 going forward, and I know they will, and it'll be faster and keep up with the thing just fine. But yeah, how much is it going to cost? Because like Autel's is really, really expensive. I mean,
it's funny
this
you
is
should
a
say
spendy little
that.
Bugger right here, but that one is.
There
really
is some
expensive.
breaking news about the Autel smart controller. Autel smart controller they have announced, due to the chip shortage, they are not going to be making any more smart control version 1 smart controllers, they're calling it. So if you've got an Autel smart controller, you're very lucky, but, and here's the kicker, they're also not going to be making any more of the current crop of Evo 2s, that they're going to have to change the chipsets in both the smart controller and the drone.
I've run into this before.
Version 1 of the smart controller is not going to work with a version 2 chipset in a version 2 Evo 2, if that makes sense.
They've put it out,
they've apologized about it, but they've been honest about it.
So there's no way. There's as a manufacturer's, there's no way around it. I ran into this with a chipset for a communication card in one of the products at my company, and we had to source another chipset for the main control board, and then we also had to source a new chip for an add-on COM card, and you couldn't intermix the two because they were incompatible. So I totally understand what Autel's up against with this, and it's heartbreaking for them as a manufacturer. Trust me, and
this is why I think DJI, because again, DJI, you are rubbish at communicating with your customers. Autel have been honest here. DJI, you need to do this.
Yeah,
right. Because I know what's going on, or at least I'm 99% positive I know what's going on. The reason we haven't seen a second Air 2 unit for FPV guys like John is because of this chip shortage, right? The reason I think that DJI had planned a second smart controller that was going to work with OcuSync 3. And one of the reasons that we saw DJI very, very quickly bring support for the Air 2S, not like the original Air 2, was because they knew they weren't going to be able to produce a smart controller. What DJI should tell us is, guys, we are working on a second smart controller. Due to the chip shortage, it might be a year before we can get one out.
No, they're not going to tell you that. It's not in their nature to release that type
and it's
of
bad.
Information. No, the marketing guys simply won't allow it. It's not going to happen. They won't allow it. They're not going to, because that's cannibalizing from existing sales. They want to sell every single smart controller that they are building.
Right? Because I partially agree with you, but I think we're getting to the point where we are in circumstances where this normally wouldn't happen, because the marketing guys wouldn't let that happen normally, because by now they probably would have that second smart controller, which is going to eat out. Because of this chip shortage, because we're in circumstances, our extraordinary circumstances, so to speak, I think you have to take measures, and I think you have to not operate the same way you would normally, because here's the thing.
Yes.
You've got to. No, I'm just trying to work out how.
I know the gears were turning in your head.
Yeah, I completely get that on one respect that it's going to eat into sales, but it's like with the Air 2 unit that, you know, it was a massive misstep to remove the air unit from sale on your website and then point people at the DJI FPV. Because no offense, right? Even DJI, they had this because we saw it leaked before. They knew that there was going to be less than 10% of FPV guys were going to buy their FPV drone. Like the guys that were seriously into FPV, like you know, fixing their own drones and stuff. They knew beforehand, due to market research, that this drone wasn't going to appeal to them.
No, it's for us.
What the hell are you doing, removing a unit that has made inroads into the FPV community and then pointing them at your thing? I mean, why didn't you go, look, due to the chip shortage, we can't produce any more of these. We're working on a second unit. That will come soon. And hang on a sec. That will come soon. And
sorry, Henry. I look Henry, down. I see Henry waving. Did you get one?
I got in the line. I'm pre-ordered for one. So
good job.
I'm 219th in line, and now there's like 2,000 people in line. So
good job.
You're good. Oh, why is this so painful?
Because it just is.
Because there's all these Bitcoin people, but this is about to.
Miners, yeah.
I suspect in the next 6 months, though, Henry, that might not be the case.
Yeah, good job, man.
Because take it from me that I know I'm not into cryptos, but I know several people who are, and all of a sudden banks are cracking down on it. And these are people from all around the world. Banks are suddenly cracking down on it a fair bit. So I'm wondering if part of this is governments leaning on the banks to control this so they can control the chip shortage. So you might notice a change in the next 6 months.
It would be really cool if they had a version of the 3080 Ti that was just not. This didn't work with Bitcoin.
That's it. None of them do.
Perfect.
None of them mine. They're all LHR. I don't know if you heard, but
I know that. Perfect.
NVIDIA did this thing on the 3060, but they accidentally hacked it themselves. They basically nerfed it for cryptocurrency mining, but they accidentally released a driver that got rid of it. But anyway, this 3080 Ti, all of them, every single chip, as far as I can tell, basically there's a handshake between the literal hardware, the software, and the driver and everything, that whenever you try and mine on it, it just nerfs the performance. So
yay, good.
Good, NVIDIA, thank you.
Right.
Just wanted. I've just seen your response. Orienteering is a lost art. I used to love doing that as a scout and as my Duke of Edinburgh award and everything else. We used to do that. We'd get dropped in a thing. We'd have a compass and we'd have to go find all these points and collect all of the. Yeah, I mean, when we did our Duke of Edinburgh, that was over 24 hours.
Yeah, that was Boy Scouts.
And it was in the Brecon bloody Beacon. So that was
we did in the middle of the woods. We had in the middle of the woods too.
Brecon Beacons, mate. We did our Duke of Edinburgh in the Brecon Beacons. That happens to be where the SAS train. So it's some hard going. The Brecons, they're awesome, but by God, that was when I used to be able to hike. Although I'm getting back.
You will again.
Also, this is totally off topic, but bloody hell are the partner cards expensive. Like I got an Asus card and it was like $600 over the Founders Edition card.
What?
Yeah. It's nuts. These prices are crazy.
When I told you how much that gaming shop wanted for the 3090, which is still on their shelf, by the way.
How much was it?
3,200 and something dollars. It translates to.
Shit.
It was
but like
that's
I actually said something worse than that when he told me the price because he told me in baht and
you
Thai language is weird, right? Because they don't say 15,000. They have a different number as soon. So their numbering system goes up in tens, if that makes sense.
Yes, yeah, that's understandable. Yeah, yeah.
So when he said 100 and something thousand, I went, "Come again?" I thought I misheard it, and they, as Thai people do here, they think because I pulled that face that I can't speak Thai, so he gets out the calculator. And then I repeated it back to him before he put it into the calculator. He went, "Chai," which is yes. I was like,
oh my god. Have you seen like the aftermarket prices of like anything?
It's insane, man. It's insane. I can't believe like DJI has somehow skirted this though, and like Hubson's gonna release this drone, and where are they getting the parts?
Well, I think personally, it's just they've already manufactured a lot of drones.
Oh, okay. You think they're already
they're
in boxes ready to rip in a warehouse?
Exactly,
massive warehouse, dude. Imagine.
And I've researched a lot of this chip shortage, and a lot of it. I mean, the reason car companies are shitting their pants right now is because there was a dip in car sales, and so they didn't order any chips from TSMC.
It's always just in time, though. Those guys are all about just in time. The manufacturers that make all the boards and everything for all these things are all just in time. So everything's just in time, and now it's just too late for all of them.
Exactly, that's what it is. And now when everything rebounded, and all of a sudden people are buying computers, cars, and stuff like they never have before, all of a sudden, all these companies haven't ordered enough chips for
But
it is.
And then TSMC is like, well, we don't have any extra wafers, so deal with it. Pretty much.
I'm saying, soon you're going to also see memory prices are going to go up. So if you want to buy memory for your computer, do it now. Because memory prices.
I have already. I've bought everything that's
hot. If you're
Henry, you have the same stuff I have, right? You have the same.
Yeah, and I also got an SSD and a hard drive and all my stuff.
Well done, because like a lot of the world's memory and hard drives are made here in factories all around Bangkok, which is the absolute epicenter at the moment of the latest COVID outbreak. I mean, it's really bad around there. These factories have all been shut. I mean, only last week we know two big factories that produce memory for Kingston and OCZ. They have both been closed for the next 14 days due to COVID, because there's been COVID outbreaks in both of these places. And it's going to massively hit because they produce it. I mean, it's a bit like, I mean, you guys, you're too young to remember this, Henry, but you'll remember this. Do you remember when there was a massive memory shortage and hard drive shortage about 10 years ago because Bangkok flooded? Because all of these factories flooded because they were all in the Bangkok basin.
Yeah.
And for months, memory was really, really expensive.
I mean, I was on eBay and I was shopping and I was like, I wonder how much SSDs are now. And I looked it up and I'm like, how the hell is that the price of memory right now? This is like a week ago. And I looked on Micro Center. They were all out of stock online. And I went, oh no. So I rushed to my Micro Center and I bought like the last storage they had. It was nuts.
The day the day we were coming back, another big factory with like 20,000 odd employees was all completely closed, 14 days. I mean, my nephew is on where my nephew lives, my young nephew that we had staying with us for a few weeks. His entire street is on lockdown because there was an outbreak in his street. So they've all been swabbed and tested, but they have to remain indoors. You've got police at the end of the road making sure they remain indoors. And they will then have to go to a field hospital if their tests come back positive. It's really not good around Bangkok. It really isn't. But let's talk about more happy things. I mean,
the happy stuff.
Yeah.
I say happy things, but hi, Bill. Husband is way behind on orders. Big delays. Yes, I'm hearing this, but I still hope that this drone has
Potential.
Some potential, yeah. I mean, I know that the live stream, we've already been told that it crashed after 38 minutes.
Dropped
But here's
out
the
of the
thing.
sky, but they'll
It
fix
hovered
that.
for 38 minutes.
Yeah, so
it hovered.
That's
for
good enough
38
for me.
minutes.
I mean,
and hovering's like the most. Isn't that more battery hungry than just flying it around to have it hover and hold position?
Yes.
So then
going forward, yeah, because then the motors align. Because normally they're like this. I don't know how to describe it on Mavic.
Yeah.
Then when you go forward, they're like this. So
yeah. So you might be using two motors more than two other motors, basically. Anyway,
they have to spin faster to hover than they do
to go forward.
And because when a propeller tips forward, there's less friction. Therefore, there's less resistance, and I can go into all of this because I studied this when
I know. Keith knows. Keith understands.
He does get it. Yep.
Yeah. But yes, you're right. In layman's terms, yes, it uses more battery to hover. It uses more energy, and the fact that it hovered there for 38 minutes is pretty impressive.
That's promising.
Yeah, so now that's
promising. Yes, that's something we need.
They'll fix Autoland. They will fix it.
Hell, when I bought the Mavic Air, it smacked into the ground. So no, DJI are not impervious to this.
Well, it didn't flat out fall out of the sky, but yeah, it landed pretty damn hard.
It pretty much did. It was like bang up.
Boink.
Boink. Boink is the exact word.
Boink.
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 But
it'd be a good sound effect if you were doing a video on it when you were testing it. Boink.
But again, I mean, we were talking, Henry, while you were trying to think about DJI, just being better with communicating with the customers. Look, Autel has said this about their smart controller. They've been honest about it. That doesn't show them in a particularly great light. They're going to say, well, this is going to pee off some customers because, if you've got a version 1 of the smart controller with a version 1 of the Evo 2, your smart controller isn't going to work with anything else coming out of Autel. So you've just spent all this money, and the Autel smart controller is not cheap. It's only going to work with this range of drones.
Oh my god, it's almost 2 of these.
Yeah.
Well, it's 1.5.
Yeah.
It's 1.5.
So auto
crash, nice, Chris. Yeah, I don't think they want to leave that feature. That's not a thing.
I think they'll leave that out of the marketing.
Yeah, I think they'll. Yeah,
but
I think they'll leave that out of the marketing.
At least Autel have put that out there, and this is how you deal with them. This is how you deal with customers, and this is where DJI seriously lack. I think they are working on a second smart controller. I think that most people that you speak to that own the smart controller love it. There is always going to be people out there that don't, but most people I speak to I've come across in the drone community who own the smart controller love it. And certainly everyone I've ever spoken to that lives in countries, or places in the States that are hot, like Florida, or places like Thailand, or anywhere like that own a smart controller will never go back, even though it's lower transmission rate, even though it's underpowered, even though it runs a really old version of Android and runs like a dodgy place. I will run that bloody smart controller into the ground before I go back to my phone, because it's changed the way I fly drones, and it's just so much more economical. And I say this with the utmost respect. If you see videos out there proclaiming this to be really, really dangerous, just watch it and watch all of these videos and watch these videos, even though they are just enticing you in for views. Watch these videos because you will see that I think it's a subjective thing.
I wonder,
from my experience,
I wonder if anybody has rooted, which is like jailbreaking to the
yeah. I know what you're talking about.
I wonder if anybody has rooted a smart controller and then kind of like get rid of all the garbage, maybe up the transmission rate. There must be. Has anybody? I haven't looked a bit. I haven't been on XDA forever. XDA developers used to do all that kind of stuff, but has anybody cracked this thing? Because
you
can get rid of a lot of there's bloat in there. There's bloat in there. You don't need.
I know that
browser and stuff.
Did get an FCC hack working, but it's rather convoluted.
Yeah, somebody did it. Somebody's done it.
It's nowhere near as easy as the FPV drone. Not that I'm advocating FCC hacks, but
well, not just that. It wasn't so much the FCC hack. It was I'm wondering if people have broken into it to be able to kind of get rid of some of the fat that lies within.
Yeah. So this person,
I
don't know how
their dashboard, DJI's overlay could go by.
I think I am slightly concerned about the fact that we still haven't had any real fixes from DJI about it. The fact that
when was the last time they updated
firmware
anything?
Upgrades.
They've been really bad.
They have updated, Henry. They've updated the Air2S.
Now you started something.
Twice since it's been released.
Ran out of the room. We started something with Keith.
Twice since it's been released. Nothing for the FPV drone yet. Absolutely nothing.
Oh, that's sad.
What's going on?
Sad. What the heck?
I don't know.
And you had that potato jet video where they were going, oh, we've got this cinematic mode coming. You can shoot in 24, 25, 30 frames a second kind of thing. And that was 2 months ago. That video? And then there's just been radio silence from them. And this is, again, what I mean. Look, we're not stupid. You being put on the American blacklist is obviously going to affect you. Communicate with your customers. Communicate. The thing that DJI lets DJI down, and this is why I want competition for DJI, is they are crap at customer service, and they are.
Changing the subject because we're going. We don't want to go down that rabbit hole again. And
we went through that rabbit hole, and that's an interesting conversation.
Wait there, because there's one more.
He's been busy. Mine are still in the boxes. I haven't even opened up yet to build them, but I got to get all that stuff.
I'm hoping these.
How's that
graphics cards?
The ISS.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Put it down
cool.
here.
You lost some pieces in the way, Keith. Gonna do some assembly.
There's a couple of spare bits on there, and they don't attach very well. But I will reattach them in a minute.
It's not drone related, but Keith, I need to do the Eagle first, and then I'll work on the Saturn V, and then I'll save Discovery for.
I completed the collection because I'd had every. I've obviously got the Eagle, which you can't see. It's kind of in the corner there. And then I got the shuttle and the rocket, and the only one that I didn't have was the ISS. I was like, so I bought the ISS.
Yes.
The great thing is the ISS comes with a little Dragon capsule, or if you want to go back in time,
we're way off topic now. Talk about squirrel. We're out of
look
at that.
Dude, that's sick. Well. Dude, I need to get back into Lego. I really do.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Well, yeah, you do, but no, you don't. Because you just bought a graphics card. Keith was talking to me about going to the Lego store. So I make a pit stop at the Lego store in Syracuse. And I was just like, I'm just going to get Discovery. Yeah, I walk in the place and what's this big display? And they have Discovery and the Eagle and Saturn V. I'm like, mine.
Hey, dude, you should do a live stream building them. I think that'd be something fun to see.
That's been done, though. I don't know if anybody really.
It doesn't matter. Who cares?
You'll be surprised how many people watch Lego live streams. Trust me. I there's a guy in Canada that he just sits there building Lego, and he's got like 1,000 people watching him. He live streamed building the Colosseum, which until recently was their biggest set.
I saw that thing on the.
I saw that live stream.
Well, no, I didn't see the live stream, but they had it in the Lego store, and then of course they had the Millennium Falcon. That's like the the big one.
Yeah, dude.
Now, if only they turned that into a drone. Can you imagine if Lego? It's kind of heavy though. The Lego stuff's usually heavy because it's dense.
Did you? We can
Lego drone.
Love a Lego.
Need a Lego drone, Lego FPV drone. You can see how easy to be rebuild. You just get new Lego blocks,
dude.
Put it back together.
And it'd probably still be tougher than the DJI FPV drone.
Oh! Dude, you guys are just going over my search history from like 5 years ago at this point, because that's all I was into like years and years ago when I first got into drones was just Lego flying, which is interesting.
I love Lego. I've never grown out of it.
Who doesn't?
It's really expensive, and my wife is like, but I've got a couple of
Lori's
faux
a little
Lego
concerned.
kits.
Yeah, Lori's a bit concerned when she saw the big Lego store bag, and she's like, "What are you doing?"
Oh no! Oh, nothing. There's just a bag on the floor, and I thought it looked cool.
Henry, up on the shelf, I've got the Avengers aircraft carrier, and it's kind of like it's huge. I mean, when I was putting that thing together, going, this is a bit big. It's absolutely huge. But it's great because it's got like you turn the handle and all the props spin, and you have
dude, I love those sets. I mean, I'm a Lego Technic guy or Lego architecture guy, where like I like the stuff that like it's actual gears that move, and like I can see. I mean that's kind of like how I learned how cars work. My dad bought me a Lego set of a car, and he sat down and built it with me when I was like 9 or something, and that's how I learned how gearbox, differentials, all sorts of stuff work. I mean, it's really cool.
I learned about differentials with RC cars. Before I was too scared to fly anything that was RC. That's
with my engineering
planetary gear differentials. Yeah,
the mechanism that's in that is really impressive. In the mechanism that allows the gears to come down. And keep all that space open in the bay is very, very clever. And it's very simple, but it's often the simple engineering that can sometimes be the most clever. So
I agree.
Squirrel,
it's the most robust,
really squirreled, majorly squirreled.
Yes, I know. But
it's cool, Keith.
Lego's cool.
It is cool.
Lego's cool. I'm sorry. Most drone guys that watch this, come on, you love Lego too. You know,
come on.
It's probably
you know it. I mean, there's the Daily Bugle set that's just come out with like 20 odd minifigures from Spider-Man. It's Spider-Man, my favorite comic book character. It's the Daily Bugle, and it's Lego. It's like.
All right, so did you order it yet or what? If you order it?
Yeah.
Come on, Keith. I know.
And my boss sent me a picture. He's just bought that 5,000 piece Millennium Falcon. It's like the only reason I haven't got that right is because I can't put it anywhere.
I do love that thing.
You could hang it from the ceiling. It's just in your background, hanging on string.
But here's the thing: Lego drones.
We were talking about.
Could be a thing.
Yeah.
It could be a thing.
I know DJI has like a little adapter for the Mini where it's like a thing that you put on the front and it has like Lego studs.
Yeah.
That's cool.
You
could put like a minifigure or like a something on there.
I forgot about that. That's right.
Or like a space shuttle. That would be cool. It's like those Boeing
a Lego GoPro on top of the Mini.
I know that we've properly squirreled, but it is interesting going back to how DJI haven't brought out any firmware for the FPV drone yet. It is, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love flying that drone, and most of the things that I pointed out in my review are, if I was using that drone creatively, I would be more annoyed than I am. But to be honest, I just love flying that drone. I mean, I was sitting at the on my sort of great big balcony overlooking the lake, flying this drone over the horses and the thing, and they didn't mind the drone at all. And then flying it really low over the lake. I was flying with a bunch of storks. It was getting attacked by a bunch of bloody kestrels, and then these two waders decided to pick on it when it was flying low over the lake. But I was looking at some of the footage, and it's really good. The footage is infinitely better from that drone if you've got an ND filter on it.
I flew mine a bit last weekend, and finally I went through 2 batteries in like no time in sport mode. But Lori and I went over to the schoolyard and we were flying it, and I was like, the thing that was kind of setting me off was that I haven't figured out how it handles yet. So when I fly it, I remember my initial salty comments were, damn it, this thing's fast, but it's like 60s muscle car fast. It doesn't turn. It goes super fast in a straight line. And then Keith was explaining to me, he's like, Chuck, just like, you got to practice, go through a bunch of markers and things, like create a course. And I have that. I have a soccer field that has with multiple soccer fields that there are no nets on the goal. So like it's perfect. So I do need to not give up and keep trying because I get so damn scared flying it.
The way I learned to turn that drone was I started off in normal mode going around the track, and admittedly I got annoyed with normal mode because it kept slowing me down.
It slows you down when you get to the because like on sport you see the markers. It'll tell you that there's an obstacle.
Switch off the sensors, and I hadn't figured that out at the time, so I went into sports mode, but I was only half powering it, and actually doing it in sports mode and only half powering it taught me to be more, finesse with the controller.
You have to plan ahead with this thing, kind of, because it's But I guess that's part of learning how it handles, and I have just not figured it out.
You've got to fly it slowly and learn how to turn it first,
figure it out.
Then it will naturally come as you fly it in sports. I mean, as I said, I know what it will like. I can make it turn on a dime in sports mode, but I wouldn't have necessarily done that off the bat. It's knowing. And the funny thing was, and this is again why, and this is to anybody that's watching this, don't listen to anybody that compares it to a Maverick, because it's not. And I think the controls are slightly different, because I was flying my Air 2S, and then I immediately went to flying this, and I got into a bit of a muck and fuddle. I got very confused because it just doesn't fly the same way.
I flew my Mavic 2 after that, and it was like it felt like it was just, how somebody described it as a bus.
Yeah,
it felt like, I mean, compared to the FPV, it did feel like a bus. They're two different, completely different drones for completely different purposes. And like you said, Keith, when I fly the FPV drone, I'm not out to get footage. I'm just buzzing around because it's fun.
And the other thing is,
very fun because I can't fix it if I break it that readily.
But I noticed that it took me a couple of seconds to get into flying it again, and I nearly crashed it into a sundial in the garden because I was all confused. And the other thing I find is I'm really finicky about the goggles. If the goggles are not perfectly lined up, I get completely sort of in a muck and fuddle again, because it really distracts me.
You can't mess with the goggles.
You have to be.
They got to be locked on and comfortable, and you can't. I like that, Keith. Look, we're like. Scuba Steve. When I'm fine with it, when they're uncomfortable, I can do a lot. As I said, I flew it through the gazebo and I get more daring with it. But I did enjoy just while Len was sort of like feeding the pups that were living under our we had 4 puppies living under our hut. Well, they were being looked after, which we found out on the last day, so we didn't worry too much. The guy because it was a weird place, but they've got like a convention center there and a campsite, and of course none of that's there. But there's 60 odd ponies, a herd of 60 odd wild ponies, 200 and something cattle, and something else. And like one day I woke up and the cattle were walking past our room, and this character of a guy that looks after them came up, and he's the one that feeds the puppies and looks after them every day. And clearly they knew him because they all ran up to him and were friendly with him. But Len was feeding the puppies while I'm flying the drone around and zipping around the lake and everything. It was great fun. And I enjoy flying that drone for fun. No real creative use other than I'll show a bit of my footage in the vlog, because if you're gonna I mean, it's like it's weird. I've kind of gone full circle with I haven't even really gotten into FPV yet, but I don't know if it may never be just for me. That's all. It may not be for me, but the FPV drone, I think it might be for Lori more so. So I gotta get her. She needs to get the goggles comfortable. Just like you pointed out, Keith. If the goggles aren't comfortable, you can't focus on flying. You're worried about the goggles like shifting and not being comfortable.
Well, when you told me about Lori, that immediately came to my mind. More so, I noticed it on this trip again, that I have to have the goggles on absolutely perfectly, or they're a distraction. So you've got to get it right.
Yeah, because you got to because things are happening too fast when you're flying that way. But then you're right there. Like I told you when I flew mine, like out that schoolyard, I went down this one road and there's a canopy of trees that kind of form over the other end of the street as you go further away. And when I was flying there's no way in hell, even though I was within visual line of sight with a Mavic 2, there's no way I could have done that. I could have thread the needle through that canopy of trees. And the FPV, whoop, like right through.
I've got my eye on pre-built one, Jesse. It's just at the moment I've had other things that have eaten into my funds. I recently bought the Wireless Go 2 because one of the things that I noticed on and Chuck again pointed this was a reverse piece of advice. Chuck was like, I've just bought the Wireless Go 2, and I ran into the same problem that Chuck did, is that my wife is getting far more sort of involved in my vlogs now.
You gotta have these
because we made the last vlog that we,
or you're gonna have two eyebrows.
Yeah. So I've just bought that, and maybe not. Maybe okay. not that one.
That one. Maybe not that one. Not a good idea.
But I have got my eye on one. But I've got to get the remote as well. The goggles will work with it because it's got a Catus Vista unit in it. So and it comes with the GoPro holder, and it will fly GoPro Hero 7, which I happen to have. So I'm tempted. I can kind of fly manual. To be honest, I didn't fly manual on this trip because I was having fun in sports mode, to be honest.
If you're not doing the dives and stuff, Keith, there's flying in sport mode is
there was one place where actually manual would have been quite cool. And it's funny enough, you that gave me the idea, and I just didn't have time after that to fly it again, was that tree that you saw out on the next to the heart. And you said, oh, you should be flying around that. I was thinking, yeah, I could fly manual around that tree and it would look really cool on the FPV drone because I could keep the horizon level, and there's no way the Air 2S could move the same way as the FPV drone, and that would have been a really awesome shot. But I didn't have time to charge the batteries up again because we were out into the jungle, and then that was it.
Gotta get that backpack that I think Aldrin reviewed that has the power in it.
Yeah, but I'm thinking, you see, on the way back,
Billy Kyle, I think reviewed that. It was like anyway, sorry.
On the way back, there was a dip in the forest because as you come down from where we were staying, it's very foresty down the hill, except for one bit of forest where there was this gap in the middle, and there was obviously a stream all the way along it, and there was a few branches, and I was thinking, oh,
yeah, I know
a really cool cinematic FPV shot, flying FPV through that, and it would be one of those sort of DJI moments like, Lem, we have to come back, and we've already been invited to a night safari anyway, so we're going out on a night safari with our ranger guy, so we are going back probably next month. But I was like, Lem, we've got to have the FPV drone. And she's already worked out that we could drive down and park down so I could fly under the bridge and not go over the motorway, so that doesn't, it's not dangerous. And then I can access that bit and just fly the FPV down. It was like, it's gonna be so cool. So that might be in a future video. But as of yet, I didn't really have any creative use for the FPV drone, but I love flying it. It's fun. It's just fun, although I tend to go through the batteries in like 7 minutes because I do fly it in sports mode. And
I learned that you were very accurate. You were accurate when you said that was about the flight time, and it indeed is.
Yeah,
because it's like, I just got out, because compared to a Mavic 2, it's like you're done. You'll just start like, I was just getting comfortable, and now I got to bring it back and change the damn battery. What the hell?
Yeah.
As I said in the review, DJI 20 minutes. I mean, you can get 20 minutes out of that battery if you fly like a Mavic. You've got Miss Daisy sitting in the back of it.
It is, but it is pretty fun if you don't care about the footage. It's fun.
It is fun.
I interrupted your Go Wireless 2 stuff though, because really they are.
Oh no, I've got that. The reason I've got it is, as you said, it's
got a mic up.
The fact that I have a Rode video micro, and it's a great microphone. It's really cheap. It comes with a great big sort of wind muff and everything on it, and it's a great mic, and I've used it up until now because it's always been me talking to camera. And now that Lem's talking to camera, we were constantly having to switch it around, and Lem couldn't get it into the cold shoe because she hasn't figured out cold shoes yet. And because of the way the Osmo Pocket 2 is, the muff kept getting in the shot, and I was just like, I've had enough of this. I know that I need it. Now now and again, especially when I was in the jungle. It's great for recording sounds which you can't get. But when it's the two of us talking to camera, the Rode Wireless Go 2 just makes sense. Yes, some people were saying, I went to buy it and they had the Harmonic B500 or something in the thing, and that comes in a charge case. And all three of them have got digital screens, whereas the Rode Wireless Go 2 doesn't. The reason I didn't go for the Harmonic B500 or Blip is that the range is really bad on it, and it doesn't have the backup recording that the Rode Wireless Go does. In compressed audio, each one of those receivers can record 40 hours of bloody audio.
Yeah, but you're not going to use compressed. You're not going to use compressed. But did you see that the Wireless Go 2?
Okay. We could
have done a whole chat on this thing. I'm just scratching the surface of this device, but it records.
I need to up my audio. I really do. I just record using the phone and occasionally a mic. So yeah. I actually would like to hear this.
There are a bunch of features on it. One of them is you can record 2 channels of audio on each microphone records audio on itself, up to 24 hours of really good quality audio. And it'll record 2 channels. One will be normal, like 0 decibel, and the other one will be set back. It was 12 or 24 decibels, just in case you have clipping issues and stuff. And then it knows when it can't talk to the receiver, and when it doesn't, it flags those moments. So when you go through and edit, you can patch it all back together later on for like redundancy. And you guys know how I feel about redundancy. So it's like, this thing is just ridiculously capable.
You see, I was an average fan of the Wireless Go, and I bought it very early on, and it was brilliant. But there were issues. Obviously, you could only have one person connected to it, and loads of people made all these things. It's almost like Rode went and read every comment that anybody that had bought this thing made about it, and just went boom.
Even the dead cat. Look, the dead cat actually it twists on now. It doesn't fall off anymore. It latches on and it's not coming off.
In fairness, Rode did replace the dead cat on the Wireless Go with a better version of it. Except if you bought an older version to stop, but you could write to Rode and they would send you them, and they did for me. And the second set that they sent stayed on. I mean, they were still a bit dodgy and not as good as the Wireless Go 2 ones, but they were better than the version A design that they had. But I like Rode, and I'm impressed. I mean, you can tell this is the podcaster here, brilliant microphone. And their PS1 arm, which can hold my bloody 6400 down like that with the 16mm lens on it, and it just sticks. Really good. They make quality gear, and I think the Wireless Go 2 it's amazing. It's like if Rode made cameras, I think they would make the holy grail of cameras.
Probably
because they kind of made the holy grail of wireless microphone systems.
Pretty awesome.
I mean, really, when you think of audio brands, what's the only audio brand you can think of? Like the only audio brand I can ever think of is Rode.
Well, I think it's Shure and
Shure, there's
Sennheimer and AKG. But you're right. You're right. I mean, Rode is high on the list, especially in what we're doing as hobbyists or whatever. And
when it comes to
sound is so damn important. It's like so important. And
it is
making videos. Anybody who's making videos, drone videos, mix of videos with drone and ground footage. And I know Keith, you and we need to start talking about more of this stuff on the channel, because it's critical. You have to have good sound. You can have a semi-mediocre video, and if you have a really good musical soundtrack and you have good audio, if you're vlogging, it makes all the difference in the world.
It's what I said when I reviewed the original one, that the most important thing about making videos is your audio. You can have crap video, but if your audio is crap, people are going to switch off. And I was impressed by the Wireless Go when it first came out. As I said, every time you buy a new camera, there's always something wrong with it. There's always something not quite right, but you forgive it because everything else on there. There is not a single damn thing on this that I found that irritates me. This thing is the holy grail at the moment of wireless systems. Hi, John. Hope you're feeling better, mate. I've heard you've been a bit under the weather, so glad you're on the mend. I think it's brilliant. I think it's an awesome little system. But the wireless Go was great. The only reason that I've replaced it is don't encourage him, John.
It's gonna fit perfect in my backpack though. Like when Lori and I do these travel vlogs. Now I mean, like I'm branded and it fits. It's perfect in the bag.
Spot the brand hole.
The brand is awesome, isn't it?
Says the man with his cake.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm so proud of it though. It came out really good. I've designed it. It came out really good.
But the only reason I got the wireless Go 2 was so that I can mic me and Lemon together when we're doing these videos.
I told you, Keith, when we did the vlog together, Lori and I, we kind of figure out ways around it as the week went on. But the first vlog, I was like, oh man, the audio, I can't hear Lori. It's like I'm talking and I'm talking. And it was just like, ugh. So we got back and I told Keith about it. We got back and I was like, yeah, I'm ordering one. I have to. I have to mic.
You got it.
Well, I saw it with a $60 discount, and I was just like, That's
outstanding, man. That's really,
especially
really
when that camera shop is usually about $50 to $60 more than if I order it online. They were cheaper than where I usually buy my stuff from.
I can't believe it was that
like Amazon services. They were cheaper.
I can't believe it was that deeply discounted. That's I couldn't find it anywhere.
It was I think it was wireless Go was more expensive here than it is in the States. It's not like the drones where the drones are cheaper.
Well, Go even used the Go was going for over $150. It's super expensive used.
It equated to about $265. So I didn't get it much cheaper than you, but I got it much cheaper than I would have done had it been at its full price here.
Well,
that was why I was slightly put off by it because
I'm happy you got
it's still more expensive than the first one. But I mean, I love the first one, and I'm loath to sell it. But
I parted with mine.
Well, I'm parting with mine if I can get it to the US.
It's a great device. But this is going to make, because I'm for a single vlogger or somebody just doing work on their own, it's outstanding. You can't beat the damn thing. It's really great. To have a partner like Keith and I do now, where our wives are getting into it. So now they're like telling us what to do, sort of, it's like, whoa, how did this happen? We both need it. We need to be able to mic
my
them
wife
up.
is forever telling me how to make videos. It's like, do you have over 1,000 subs? Huh? No. What was that? No.
Well, I don't either.
Shut up.
I don't either. Me either, man.
And you know that. And
yeah,
of course,
me either.
Me and doesn't butt in again.
I think I know what I'm doing for the most part, but I don't have over 1,000 subs.
But yes, I think in the coming weeks, with Chuck and I and with Henry, we're going to be talking more about creating videos with the tools that we have.
I really want to take us down that road on this channel.
That's gonna be good.
Yeah, well, I suspect in the next year that we aren't going to be reviewing that many new drones, and I'm certainly not rushing out. I mean, I've already
buying this Mini SE personally, not me.
No, I do want to spend a lot of time on here more time on our show talking about how to be better creators, and we all learn every day. I see so much potential out there, me included, and we all need to tap in each other's thoughts and improve as creators. So I like to talk about it.
I mean, you're right. I mean, looking at what I managed to capture through the Air 2S, I want to talk about that because right now I'm not convinced I need a Mavic 3. You're going to have to put something on that.
You don't even need. We know you need the old saying is the best camera to use is the one you have. And
exactly.
That's
like
still
a phone or whatever the heck. Yeah.
I mean, this is fact. This is fact. And to make use of your existing gear, you have to make the Mavic 2 Pro is not the newest drone on the planet, but right now many of us
still
fly
pretty
them.
Good.
And yes, and I haven't gotten to the point where I have outgrown it, where I'm so good, because I'm not. If I was so good that I needed something better than the Mavic 2 Pro, then I should be like, okay, what's out there that I need that will make me a better creator because I've outgrown the tools that I have. and I'm not there. So like anybody out there is buying drones just because, oh, it's the newest, coolest, best thing. Look, it has all this, those crap.
Unless you're actually going to use it or actually
you don't
can tell
need
the
it.
difference, why are you going to waste the money?
Right. And I was the guy. Like,
I mean, my Mavic is gonna.
My
Mavic. I mean, my Mavic is gonna hold me over for years, probably a long time to come, because I'm not gonna outgrow this thing. I can,
so it's
barely tell the difference between that and like the original Mavic Air. I mean.
The reason that I bought the Air 2S was to get that 1-inch sensor.
I know, Keith. I get that. I totally understand why
every drone that I had.
But that's understandable.
Yeah, that's
understandable.
Logical...
You had a need. The drone filled the need, and therefore you got the drone.
Right. Right. To just get it because it's the newest is just.
I didn't buy it because of that.
You can. I mean, if you have the money, go ahead. Right.
We know you didn't. We know you didn't. But that, you actually had a reason, Keith.
So we need to talk about using these things because they are tools. I mean, it's fun to talk about the new tech and everything, but Keith and I were chatting.
Unless they're actually used for anything, yeah.
Yeah, I want to talk about making us.
I think because
all better.
I mean, I've been making vlogs for a while, and I enjoy the process. I enjoy the creative process behind it. I like making videos about drones. I like talking about the drone stuff. I like making those videos and talking about the Mars drone and all that stuff. But I also like making vlogs, and I live in a country which is beautiful and amazing and has these places on our doorstep. And them and I want to travel more. And once this Couth thing is all over with, we are going
just
to.
like us, Lauren. We're
going up more
again.
And now that Lem is getting into it, I want to make more videos because we're a good team, and she's hot. So, believe me, guys, I'm punching. It's and I know it. But I'm lucky because she wants to get into it. So I want to talk more about that process as well. And I think the drone market's going to be slow for a while. So let's talk about why we use these things.
That's where I want to go with these things, because we're still talking about drones, but we're going to talk about them. We'll talk about the new stuff, of course. Henry's not losing a job.
No, we will still we will have the news, but we're going to get. We're not stopping. We haven't got any special guests today because partly we just wanted to do the three of us. But we are going to be getting more special guests on there. There is one person that literally taught me everything I know that we're getting on. And I'm really looking forward to that. And hopefully he will be on in the next few weeks. But we will be talking about the news, but we're going to be also sort of talking about the creative processes behind those.
Exactly. And I think that's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. But we have been on for an hour and 42 minutes.
47 seconds.
So, thank you to everybody in the chat. Thank you for all the comments. I'm just because I've just seen Jesse's comment. I think that's the one I'm looking at, Jesse. I can't remember the name of it. I'll have to go and look it up.
Chris had a question too that we're going to get into that stuff too. We're going to talk about.
We are definitely going to get into this.
Yeah, Chris. I mean, all these things matter. Following the 180 rule, filming at a nice cinematic frame rate. All these things.
I've been trying to make a video, and I've never got around to it, to why ND filters are used and stuff, and demonstrate it, because one of the things a lot of these videos that you see on YouTube is they never demonstrate why they are so important, and there is a very easy way to do it. I did film it for a video, and then I lost the footage where I got them just standing in front of a wall and wave her arm in front of the wall, and I showed it with an ND filter on and without, and you pause the video and there is the demonstration, because without an ND filter her arm is pin sharp even when it's moving really, really fast,
which is really annoying to watch.
But when you do that with an ND filter, her hand is blurred, and that's why you can always tell when it's a home video and when it's on an old video.
Let's touch on this.
And when you're moving, the ground blurs when it moves really fast, and that's the sort of cinematic look. Yeah,
that's what's supposed to happen, and that's the whole purpose of following the 180 rule, where you film at a frame rate. Many film at 30 frames per second in the States. I just switched over to 24 because I kind of like that soft shutter because my eyes like that, and that's the cinematic thing. But then the other important thing is to be able to slow down that shutter speed. So it's only, I know, Keith, I know. But so Lori has footage from
Keith
Oregon.
is just
Lori was filming with her phone.
You have no idea, Henry.
I know, we've all been through this crap. I'm learning from the master over here.
You have no idea, Henry, because he was, let's just say he was really resistant to going to 24. I was like, go to 24 chat. You keep banging on about cinematic, go to 24 chat. And he was like, and then he come back from his Catskills. He went, I filmed the whole lot in 24 and I prefer it. I was like, what was that, Chuck?
Yeah.
Like,
say it louder.
Can I get that in writing?
It.
Signed so I can frame it on my wall. Yeah,
fine. Right. I admit it. I admit it. But then the other thing was, so Lauren,
I should start shooting in 24.
Yeah,
I actually should.
I just want to ask a question. Which ones have you bought, Chris? I mean, I'm using the stock ones that come with the drone, which are not that bad, but I'm tempted to buy the. I'm going to really speak bad about it. I'm tempted to buy the Polar Pro VNDs because as of yet, I haven't seen anything from Freewell when it comes to VNDs, and I like VNDs because they're just so much easier. And Polar Pro have got some nice ones.
Oh, that reminds me, I have to do a shout out just quickly for these things for my Osmo Pocket.
Freewell.
Well, I bought the wide angle lens for the Pocket because I have the original and I have an upgraded, and I have two of them, one for redundancy. Keith always laughs about. So I bought the ND filters for it, and they give you a set of 6, and they push on the wide angle lens. And while on vacation, one fell off. So I reached out to Freewell and I said, hey, I lost the ND4 and can I just buy that alone? I don't see it anywhere on the website. And they're like, no, sorry, we don't have them just as a single lot. And I said, well, crap, I created, here's my channel link and stuff. I only need the one. Is there any way you can, I'll pay for it. Is there any way I can get one? Then they said, oh, we really appreciate you supporting our products. We're going to send you a whole new set. What's your address? And they did. So
that's Freewell for you.
I'm just telling you, Freewell, and that's not the first time that they have stepped up and helped me out. They're pretty awesome. So I am glued to Freewell. Nobody else is going to get my money. I am glued to
Freewell. Every filter I have, with the exception of the FPV drone, purely because they weren't available here, are Freewell. But I haven't seen their Air2S VNDs yet, whereas Polar Pro have got them out. And I want the VNDs because I've got used to using VNDs now on the drone, and it's just so much easier.
Easy.
You don't have to craft with it.
Yeah. I don't think they're as good, Keith. They're not quite as good as a pure ND if you change them out, 4, 8, 16, 13.
Okay, yeah.
But they're pretty darn good, especially
Here's
for YouTube.
The thing. If you're shooting professionally, no, they're not. Right. Although, having said that, the Peter McKinnon VND filter for your camera is pretty good. It's just ridiculously expensive. Yeah. But they pretty nailed it with a VND. But no, as a rule, they're not. But if you're shooting and creating for vlogs for YouTube, they are absolutely fine.
Oh, they're fantastically quick and easy to use. And when you have access to an adjustable aperture on your drone, they're even better.
You've bought the Polar Pro are the Ferrari of ND filters, Chris. You bought the best ones available.
Yeah, you did.
Freewell are half the price.
They're a bang for the buck,
but they are not
filter.
Half the quality. That's the thing. Although Freewell are inching up a bit because they are becoming popular, but Freewell are pretty damn good. But Polar
Pro's pretty good. Yeah,
they are the best.
I have no complaints with Freewell or their.
No, I don't.
I've been using them. I've been using them since my Mavic Pro, and I just fell into them, and then. Every single drone I've purchased since, and all my cameras, Lori's new A6600, variable neutral density, Chris.
So it's basically, with ND filters, you get your 8-stop, 4-stop, 16-stop. What a VND does is it has 2 polarizing lenses
and they go like this.
Next to each other, and you turn them.
Yeah, and
by
they go
turning them, you get the same thing, but it's adjustable. So you don't have to take off one ND filter and put another one on. And what's more, you can dial it in. So you can dial that setting in more than you would with a 16 or a 32 or anything like that. So with a VND, you can just dial it in more. They're great when you're shooting vlogs. I've got VNDs for the pocket.
Yeah, you can adjust them so fast on the fly.
Because you just turn the knob and bomb. And it's the same thing with the drone. You bring your drone down, turn the knob, bomb, it's back up in the air again. So it's a lot easier than, especially with the Air 2S, because you've got to turn that damn filter and it's annoying. But if you've bought the cinematic range of Polar Pros for the Air 2S, they're awesome.
Now just be sure to make sure to put it in manual mode though and adjust everything, because if you put it in automatic, the settings will just fight it and you won't get any benefit. The whole point of filters is to lock in everything in manual mode, have your shutter speed or your frame rate lock in your shutter speed, and then when you go out in the sun, it's gonna be like blown out. Everything will be like,
actually, I mean, I can just demonstrate.
You put sunglasses on, which is the VND.
Talk amongst yourselves for a second. I'll get the big one.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Keith being Mr. Wizard for
I know, right?
ND filters.
Dude,
they are sunglasses for your camera though. That's what they are.
It's still on the, I'm a fool. It's still on my lens. So I mean, you may be able to see this, but what a VND does.
This is gonna be fun. Do it.
Oh, this is gonna be fun. Do it.
You turn it and you can see it's gone darker.
Completely dark.
And then you can turn it right up
and it opens up.
And then it's really light. So all it is two polarized. It's like you're getting your sunglasses, and because you're turning them in opposite directions,
they block more and more light.
They block more light. See,
it's funny. If you have polarizing sunglasses and a smartphone, if you put the sunglasses on and look at your phone, if you turn your phone 90 degrees, it'll look like it's off. Then if you turn it back, that's basically what it is, because it's two polarizers. So that's kind of how it works. I don't know. It's just something fun. I know.
That's why they have. That's why they have some limitations, though, as far as quality is concerned. That's why you have limitations, because when you have the two polarizers are actually used to improve. You have a circular polarizer on a lot of your specialized filters, and those are great for getting rid of glare and things like that.
I suspect that the Polar Pro ones that he's bought,
anytime, Chris.
circular polarizers on them, because a lot of the VNDs from Polar Pro, the 32 and the 16, depending on which set you have, has circle polarizers built in, and basically what that does is it brings out the blue in the sky, or it brings, depending on where you turn it.
I love that look. That's a beautiful look.
When we went to Maui, I remember I was using a circular polarizer on the camera, and I'd share the pictures, and people are like, "These aren't real." And I didn't use. They were raw pictures I just took with a polarizer on them, and it made all the difference in the world. I didn't have to do anything in post. They were just bam,
beautiful.
Pretty good. Yeah, I mean, not like what Keith's getting with like his sunset shots and stuff, because that's a whole nother. I was
ballpark.
Joe Amateur. Yeah, Joe Amateur with a polarized filter made a difference, but he took it to the next level. He does.
Chris, hit us up on Discord or something, and we'll if you need any more help, we'll give you some more advice, because I learned all this stuff by watching hundreds of videos. But I when it comes to VNDs, there's only a few videos out there that really explain it well and in a simple way as well. And it is all to do with motion blur, and it's what makes your videos cinematic.
Which is where we're going. I remember Chris, I think, said in one of my videos, he's like, why don't my videos look like this? I remember your comment, Chris.
Hang on, he's asked one more question. I'm going to answer this. It is when you're doing video, it is for motion blur. When you are doing photography, it is motion, but in a different way.
You get that nice smeary looking water, like you get that slow exposure stuff. Long exposure shots are
I'm seriously into long exposure for photography, because I love
it really soft and mystical, and really nice.
Yeah, you're right. I have actually taken some long exposure photography. I actually like how it looks. Looks
very cool.
Sick.
Yeah, it's not always. It's not for everything you do, but it's a really nice effect for like Well, I know when we go to Scotland, Lori's going to be well versed on it, and if Keith shows up on the, well, that'd be great if Keith gave her, on-site lesson. That'd be cool.
This is a long exposure shot. Let me take you back. This one I'm very proud of. Actually, I'm getting this printed.
Ooh, let's see it.
Share the screen. Chuck's already seen this, but hang on. That is a long exposure shot.
Oh, I love this picture. Yeah, I love that picture.
Look at that. Beautiful.
That is effectively the equivalent of an ND1000 and an ND64 combined, and it took 5 minutes. So that was exposed for 5 minutes, and that flattens out the sea because the sea was quite choppy, but you just get that
it blurs it and smears it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that, and this is why I love long exposure.
Yeah.
It doesn't come out very well, the colors on this. I made the colors pop a bit more, but that's effectively what you get. There is a polarizer, funny enough, there is a circular polarizer on that to get that blue. So there's a circle polarizer on there as well, and a UV filter. There was 4 filters stacked up on top of each other to give you that shot. So but that's so ND filters have their use in both photography and video, and they're used for different things. So like if you're taking a picture of a waterfall, now if you take a straight picture of a waterfall, it doesn't look that great. So what you do is you put an ND on there, and you knock up your exposure slightly, and then you get that motion in the waterfall. So you get that slightly blurry water in your picture of a waterfall. If you look at pictures of waterfalls, most of the time it's got motion, and they've used an ND filter to capture that.
Yeah, most of them are like that, and that gives.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Those like soft blurred ones. Where
that's exactly what
it looks like. Just a white. Yeah.
Just,
I know.
It just gets rid of all the choppiness in the water. Just looks like silk. Just looks like silk.
Yeah. So, Chris, they look. Yeah.
Chris and everybody. Yeah, we need to do this, Keith. I think it's going to be really good for.
This is going to be a good video.
We're kind of like we need to give back because we've learned a lot.
Yeah.
Keith, I've learned a lot from Keith. He's a photography expert, and
I have still a lot to learn
from my mum. But I started off with dark rooms, and when I was at school, I remember
black and white stuff. That was fun.
We would have the black and white stuff because I started off with
everything. The smell of the fixer still sticks in my head.
You'd have to. So this is the thing, right? You digital photographer guys, and I use digital now because I love what you can do with it. But when I first started out in photography, right, we would buy film in these great big canisters, and to load it into a film canister, right, you'd either have to do it in a dark room, but even then it wasn't advisable. So you'd have this bag, right? So you'd have this dark bag which would glue around to your hands, and you'd have to take the film out, right? Load it into your canister and cut it when the canister was full, right? And you'd have to do that by touch. And because you couldn't obviously expose it to light. And then you'd have the great big overhead things, and you'd like line up your picture. So it's a lost art form, and I do miss shooting on film to a certain extent. But
it was fun, wasn't it? It's kind of like vinyl with records versus CDs.
It's
that whole
fun,
analog
but you
thing.
can't do the long exposure photography that we can do now.
No, it wasn't. It was too much trial and error. You get back and be like, "What?" You have to remember. You used to get it developed. You have to wonder what I got. What was it? Was it good? What did I get? And now it's instant. You can look at it and go, "Hey, that's pretty good. Okay, I'm going to go with that one."
See,
they take a picture of a couple, and it's like, "Oh, look, what do you think? Is that one okay?" And they're like, "Yeah, that one's good. Okay, cool." Yeah, you couldn't do that. Like, yeah, it's go to get the stuff developed. And a week later.
A lot of real photographers will tell, or people that shoot in film will tell you, "Oh, these digital, they don't know what it's like." But that's bullshit, because actually, what you have to do in Lightroom, especially if you shoot in RAW, if you see what a digital camera produces in RAW, it looks god awful. And what you learn to do with these controls in Lightroom, it's an art form in its own right, and it is a skill that takes a hell of a lot of practice to do. Because we've got like 5 color controls, and we've got like 4 different curves that you can, do with those colors. But actually, what you have to be so finite with those controls and getting those pictures, and you see what these guys actually do, and it's taken me years to get that picture to that kind of quality of learning Lightroom. It's a skill in its own right. And
so when's this course start, Keith?
Yeah, when's the course start?
Yeah.
I've done a couple of Lightroom videos.
Where is the series on the case spot?
Where's the playlist?
Learning Lightroom. Like, okay.
Well, I'll do another Lightroom one because you watched one of my Lightroom videos before you knew me.
You need to do more.
Oh yeah, you do have one up, right? You have a video on it already. I have.
And funny enough, it's involving a drone because I used the drone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I nicked from Aldrin, and I admit it. But Aldrin gave me the idea, and then I took them down the beach and made a pose in front of the sunset, and then used Lightroom to do it. And I shot that on a really. And here's going back to what you said. It is about using the tools you had. I was using a Canon M6 to get that shot, and that you have to know the camera to get that because the Canon M6 low light was crap. So, what it was?
Did you use the zoom for the two zoom was used for the overhead light? Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah. That was a cool shot.
Yeah, dude, we've been on 2 hours.
2 hours.
2 hours.
We were ending the stream 20 minutes ago.
We didn't tell anybody. We didn't tell anybody they're gonna need to order food out to watch this thing. So
just send Chuck the bill.
Yeah. It's all on him.
I'm joking.
Denied.
Guys, thank you. Okay, I said this 20 minutes ago, but I mean it this time. Thank you for everyone that commented on the video. Thanks to my buddy and brother from another mother, Gareth. I don't know what you mean by that. I will be on a live stream with Gareth tomorrow. 2, in fact, 1 over on Gaming Face Punch. So if you're into video games, come check out that. We talk about the gaming news, and I am also on the Monkey Nut Punch podcast, which is on that, where it's all things geeky and video-y, and I think we're reviewing Lucifer this week because it's just come out. So come check those out tomorrow over on those channels. Chuck and Henry, Chuck, you go first. Plug your channel, plug your video, your awesome vlog. Go, Chuck.
I'm Chuck with Covaction. My wife's joined me, partnered up. I do a lot of drone videos and scenic stuff, and now we're vlogging together. So be sure to check out my channel. We just did a series on the Hudson Valley. We had a lot of fun doing it. It's our first go, so check it out and share your comments, and I'd be happy to chat with you back and forth for each one of them. There's a 4th one coming out this weekend for that matter. So check it out. And over to you, Henry.
Yep. Hello, so my name is Henry Robotic. My channel is Henry Robotic on YouTube. I do all stuff, leaks, DJI, GoPro, all sorts of stuff. I review stuff when I can, and I love to shoot drone videos and vlogs and this sort of stuff. So come check me out. And thank you as always for having me on the stream.
Oh, we couldn't do it without you anymore, dude.
You are one of us.
You've been assimilated.
one of us.
I'm looking forward to the review on the 3080 Ti when you get it. That would be good.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm hoping it comes soon. It's more of a pre-order, but
you're not that far down the list. I think you're gonna be okay. Won't be that bad.
Yeah, 200.
Mate, you'll probably get that before I get a PS5. Don't get me started on that. If you watch the Gaming Face Punch channel, you will know my feelings about Sony and the PS5.
Oh, man, I have a friend trying to get one
for us.
I can't eat biscuits at the moment, Gareth. Can I have a juice box instead?
I'll let Rory wait.
Get yourself a juice box. Bye, Laurie. Thank you for watching. Again, thank you to everyone in the chat for watching, commenting, and taking
really.
part.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Chris, for giving us the subject. It was actually really good to talk about, and we're going to be talking more about it. Drop us a bell if you need any more tips and stuff about ND filters. Here to help, buddy.
And if you haven't, for some reason, subscribed to 2K Drones, click that button.
Yes. If you are watching
and
this
the bell,
watching back the replay, please hit the sub button. We're trying to get 100 so that we can get our unique URL and everything, and go from there. So again, guys, thank you for watching. say bye-bye to the ladies and gents that have been watching.
Peace out, baby.
See ya.
Bye.
Keep on waving because I got to find the outro.
Bye.
Bye.